So let's reveal a few secrets about Neil Robertson as told by himself, actually.
I think I'm quite a nice person. Yeah, I think I'm always a good listener, willing to listen to people and give people sort of advice or stuff like that. Yeah. My mum always gives me a call before every match. That's kind of like the thing. Yeah, she just, it doesn't matter what time it is. If it's 4 AM or whatever, she'll always leave a message for me or give me a call. You want me to do it? You seriously? Okay. Look out. My friend and I worked out how to do it when we were about 8 years old in school. I'm quite lazy, I forget to do stuff. I don't do it on purpose, I just forget. I love playing video games. I just love escaping and yeah, I can play games for 10 hours straight, no problem. Pre-match before the World Championships, probably the most nervous I've been. But I had a whole country kind of really riding on me, and that was a lot of expectation, and there was a lot to sort of carry on my shoulders.
Yes, the Australian would love to add this title to his growing collection in snooker. Now, if you, like many others, have resolved to get fit this new year, and it's traditionally a time when everybody says they will and then invariably don't, but that's not quite true in snooker, because Messrs Steve Davis and Shaun Murphy, amongst others, have vowed they will become fit enough indeed to run a half marathon in April. They're not just doing so for the good of their health, they're doing so in the name of a former Masters champion.
Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. I work out.
I think it's very useful to have some level of fitness, put it this way. I mean, the doctors will tell you the thinner the blood is, the faster the decision comes from the brain because it travels through the body. The feeling good factor is very important. If you feel good about yourself, then obviously there's a bit more of a strut to your step, and that can aid to positive thinking, which is perhaps the most important part of winning at the highest level.
I'm sexy and I know it.
I don't think you need to be fit to play snooker, but I think it helps, and I think it's probably in all walks of life. And as the standard gets ever higher within the game, everybody's going to be looking for the edge, and so it could be that extra 1 or 2%. If you're physically fit, your brain's fit, long matches, World Championship, on your feet, a long time playing snooker, it can only help.
Coping with the pressure of top sport, one of the ways around it, obviously, is being physically fit. Fit enough to make a decision under pressure. Do I go for that long red in the top corner when it's a 60-40% risk ratio? Do I go for the pin or do I play for the middle of the green? These are decisions you have to make in a stressful situation. And a fit body will help. It won't make it easier. It will help you make the better decision under that stress.
I think if you look back at the record, the best players in the world were probably also the fittest. Maybe they didn't know it. They might not have been into fitness, specifically, but I think they could keep going for the longest. It's something I wish I'd have got into a long time ago.
Where have you been? We were left. Half an hour late. We were left. Come on, we're going down there, and then back again. Come on.
We're out here this morning, just started our training regime. This is the World Snooker running team in the Sheffield Half Marathon, which is on the 27th of May 2012, and we're running in aid of the Paul Hunter Foundation.
Well, at least his arm looks fit, Stevie. But you've done this before. You've run a half marathon, haven't you?
Yes, I did one, but I think a special cause this time. That was personal to see, sort of, 40th birthday area. But this is for the Paul Hunter Foundation, which the mission statement. There was a lot of money paid into the foundation during Paul's last months to try and raise money to cure him. But when it was sort of decided that it was not going that right, unfortunately, that money was decided by Paul to be put into a fund to help get kids off the street and play free snooker, and to sort of get people back in the snooker clubs and get kids off the street, really. So it's continued. There's only so much in the pot, and every time we do something, it's a bit more of a drain. So we're always looking for ways to try and fill the pot up again. And this seemed like a great way. So a few of the snooker players, Peter Ebdon, I think Alfie Burton, possibly Andrew Higginson, perhaps Liam Highfield, any names that want to play. We're going to make the World Snooker team as big as we can. There's about 4 months left. And then hopefully we can raise plenty of money through perhaps a Just Giving website. And so if you go to the Paul Hunter Foundation now, there are some details on how to be part of the team, or actually where to stick your money. And you can always pay direct to the Paul Hunter Foundation.
Training going well?
Yes, I'm up to. I'm doing at least a minute on the running machine now. I'm flying. It's a good minute though. It's a good minute.
Oh, absolutely, a quality minute. All right. Good luck with it, and I'll sponsor you.
Yes.
£5 at least.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, you mentioned Shaun Murphy, and Shaun Murphy's going to be starring in the second of our Masters semi-finals this evening. In fact, the match this evening has echoes of the biggest occasion of them all, the World Championship final at the Crucible. Because in 2009, John Higgins played and indeed beat Shaun Murphy to the third title of his career, and of course he's since gone on to win it again last year. So it's a repeat. It's Murphy against Higgins.
To win 2 Masters is a good achievement, but I can just remember winning the first time. I think through my 4 matches, I think I really struggled, and I think me and Ken, we played in the final, and it was a gritty affair, and I managed to just come out, I think, 10-8. The other time I won it, and I beat Ronnie 10-9 in a good final, so that's probably been my highlights since I've been playing in the Masters, really. One of the biggest tournaments you can win.
Well, I mean, this tournament's been the worst tournament on my CV, that's it. I used to love coming and watching this tournament as a teenager. I used to come down nearly every year and loved it. Won the qualifying event to play here, beat Fu, should have beat Hendry, bottled it. And, since then I've never really had a decent run in this event until this week. Well, I've only beaten him a few times. I beat him on my way to winning the World Championships a few years ago. What are his strengths? Everything. What are his weaknesses? Nothing.
He's a powerhouse on the snooker table. Well, once he gets flowing, I don't think anybody really hits the ball better than him in the game. He cues the ball beautifully. It's going to be one hell of a game to try to keep him off his rhythm and try and mess him about, and hopefully I can play decent as well.
I've been practicing very hard before the event, and maybe this week's my week.
And we'll be on air with that second semi-final at 8 o'clock tonight on BBC Two, and I do hope you'll join us for that. I think, guys, that both of these players figure new venue, new start. They're kind of banking on that, the two of them, aren't they?
Yeah, amazing to think that, how good they are. I mean, okay, John's won there, but Shaun's ridiculous how he's not done any good in it, especially, when you've been a UK and a world champion through that patch as well, that you just have a venue that you don't like. I think the key to that match tonight is the tactical side of it. I think, obviously, both great scorers and everything, but when they've played and been matched up, John's always had the edge tactically over Shaun. Certainly in the final they played the World Championship, he gave him a lesson in tactical play that year, so that's the key for me.
Yes, I do remember 3 years ago now, goodness, it's 2012 already, when Shaun said that John basically tied him up in knots in what was an 18 frames to 9 victory in that final. What's changed in the interim about Shaun's game?
Well, I think Shaun has tried to look at the safety side of the game, or the tactical side of the game. But all of a sudden, we were doing an interview a couple of days ago and was asked about Judd Trump, and he said that Judd Trump's pushing the bar slightly higher, and actually was learning from Judd, and was saying that he wanted to be more aggressive again. So perhaps some styles suit players. I know John Higgins can play any type of game, but perhaps some players like to play free attacking snooker.
When we're talking about that tactical side, we're talking about the best, or one of the best that's ever played the game here. Shaun Murphy is very, very good. He's top class compared to everyone else. But John Higgins is a master. I mean, he's in this fella's class. He's in the top that's ever played the game. So that's why we're being a bit pernickety bringing it up. But that's what you've got to do with John Higgins.
Okay, well, looking forward to it, and we'll be in the studio ready for that, 8 o'clock, as I say. Now, we've had quite a few tweets in from you asking for more demonstrations from Ken, and he's groaning at the prospect, I think. This one is from Rab Perry, Ken. He says, could you please demonstrate or explain the different outcomes between a stun run-through shot and a slow shot with top spin? Thank you very much.
Okay, well, I think I might get this in the first attempt, but we'll have a look. Okay, slow run through, pretty simple. Down, and you just top of the cue ball as you run through for the black. Okay, now the same can be said for playing the red, but when you're stunning and you're running through, just watch the cue ball. It sort of stops and then it continues on. Same sort of outcome, but you need a little bit more power. Middle of the white, stop, and then you see the white continue on. So that's a stun through and a follow through.
Keep it simple, Kenny, that's the way, definitely. Thank you very much. All right, we're nearly ready for the second part of this semi-final. Everybody's just milling around, having had a little bit of refreshment at the interval there. They're all coming back in with this huge crowd. It's taking a little bit of time to get them in. So let's reflect a little bit on the inner workings of Mr. Trump's mind, shall we?
I'd like to think I was quite laid back and just easy going, I'd say. I don't take life too seriously, just enjoy it. The start of my career, I'd say, when I was pretty nervous, but after I won China, then the nerves kind of went and there's more enjoyment now. Whereas before I didn't know how I was going to play on TV, but I just enjoy it a lot more now. The worst of anyone, I'd say. Like, you go in my hotel room after about an hour and it's just clothes everywhere, it's shocking. 1980s, I'd say. There was a lot in snooker happened back then when Stephen Hendry and Steve Davis first come on. So you do make friends in any kind of sport and you get on with certain players better than others, but as soon as you get on the table, then you just got to play the table and completely block out how you're playing. The world was just a completely different experience, and just getting to the final and just the coverage and how nice people were to me and how many people supported me was a good feeling. But for kids that are growing up, you've just got to enjoy what you're doing, learn to love the game, otherwise there's no real point in playing.
And as the vault shuts, the players make their way back to the table here for the second part of this BGC Masters semi-final. And Trump, well, he hasn't really been as